And there we are, Mikey.
Christmas
Look
Eve
at
Eve.
that.
It's our
Believe me.
it's just the show that people wait for all year long. It's the Christmas Eve Eve special with Mikey and Vinny. It's a
Yes, the
Monday,
King family special.
the 23rd of December, and the entire King family will be here soon. Billy King, Jimmy King, Sammy
Freddie
King,
King, Albert
Freddie
King,
King, all of them.
Dr.
BB
Martin
King,
Luther King, Coretta King,
King Caruso
um,
and his coconuts.
yeah, Kid Creole in person, a just um, an alabaster smattering of many many people of
And Jack
all
Kerouac,
different
the king of the
races,
beats.
colors, and creeds, all gathered for for the same thing, Michael,
A little Yuletide cheer.
to entertain the masses.
So, to the masses that are tuned in right now, we salute you, we entertain you, and our next show, not this one, but a next show following Christmas. Don't know what date that'll be, but we'll take a look and see. We'll take a look at the great musicians and actors and personalities that have left us during the year of 2024. And in terms of sports figures, there's Ricky Henderson, somebody that Vinny and I both followed
Yeah.
during our time in the Bay Area, and sports fans all over the country followed during his breaking of Lou Brock's stolen base record. And the way he used to catch the ball in the outfield, I forgot about that until I saw the replay where he would snatch the ball out of the air.
Yeah.
The ball was coming to him, and it would have got there, but he made a move that would get the job done just a little bit quicker.
Well, he played with, he believed in putting a show on for the fans. Ricky did.
Little style.
Yeah. And he rarely failed at it. I mean, he was a consummate performer, and the people he would upset the most with that were his managers. The fans loved it. The people playing loved it. They loved to watch him. Uh, he was just somebody that you enjoyed going out to the ballpark and watching every facet of his game.
There's not too many guys like Tito Fuentes, who was a hot dog. You just don't see that kind of type of player very often. They may have a hint of it in their personality from time to time, but rarely do they bring the hot dog genetic signal to the field every day that they play. It's a rarity these days. But if
Yeah,
you can pull it
yeah,
off, it's not a negative.
yeah. No, they have the ability to do it every once in a while. Every once in a while, they fail at it for whatever reason, but it certainly is a rare occurrence when they make a mistake and they don't handle a ball as cleanly as maybe they should. And they know it. I mean, they bring so much more in that handling of the ball or that at bat or whatever they do to it that you're almost willing to accept it from them. And say, okay, if this guy makes a mistake, he's done so many good things that he has done that why in the world would you get upset?
He's
So
putting
I
on
don't
a
know.
show. You came to see a show.
Yeah, I enjoyed so much watching Ricky, and if you get a chance, jump on our Facebook page. I put a link to our my conversation with him. I got to do a very rare thing with Ricky several years ago, and it was sit in the stands and watch a game of Ricky, sitting in the stands and watching a game. It started out as It's just a couple of guys sitting there, and I was smart enough to turn the recorder on while it was all going on, which is, sometimes, listen, I'm sure this has happened to you, Michael, at some point where you've started to record something and you know it's going to be great, and then all of a sudden you realize, holy crap, I don't have my recorder on.
Oh, I thought that I recorded something that I did not record at all, and
Yeah,
it's a terrible, terrible sinking feeling. And nothing to be done. Nothing to be done.
yeah, you can't
The
stop them and say, well, listen, let's do this all over again. you've you've lost the moment. Let's
excuse me. Danke.
So anyway, it was it was just a an awesome opportunity to be able to spend that time with him, and it's something that you hold on to because you know that at some point you're gonna you're gonna use it again. Whether he has some kind of milestone in his career, I think the last time I played that might have been when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Uh,
I saw
maybe
his
I
speech. I saw his speech where he thanks his mother for not letting him grow up to be an Oakland Raider. Instead, he grew up to be a baseball player because she said he was going to get hurt playing football. So she said, "You play baseball." She chose the
yeah.
sport for him, according to Ricky.
He was a one of a kind, unique personality, player, and talent. He
And
was
people forget what a beating base stealers take. All that sliding and the crashing her
yeah,
into second base.
yeah, he beat
It,
his body up, and he took it. Every day he was out there. He left it on the field. And I remember talking to Mike Cameron uh, about how um, Cammy was, Henderson had spent time with Mike Cameron when they were both on the Mariners together, trying to, educate Cammy. They took a liking to each other,
mhm.
and sometimes that's not a good thing because players almost get offended that you can teach me how to do this better than I can do it. But Cammy was smart enough to realize who he was sitting there next to,
Right.
and took those words of advice and wisdom, and you would see before the games in spring training and even at Safeco Field where Ricky would come out and he'd spend an hour or a half hour with Mike Cameron, kind of showing him, helping him pick up the little, the movement of the feet, the movement of the hands, where your eyes are going, little things that maybe you don't get all the time.
And also thinking in this situation, this is what we're going to do. Always know the situation you're in. Where's that ball going? Communicate to the infield. Where's that throw coming to? It's something that the pros do. Well, why should I tell? He's a pro. Why should I tell him I'm throwing it to second? You tell him you're throwing it to second. You tell him how many outs there are. You tell him it's coming to him. That's the way you communicate. It's not that you're telling him something he's never heard before. You're telling him this is what we're doing. Here's how we're playing this. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, yeah, it really again, to me, it was fascinating to watch. Uh, the teacher uh, bring this, impart this wisdom, this knowledge on a guy who was hungry for the knowledge. I mean, Mike Cameron wanted to be a better base stealer, and he had the master class right there in front of him, man. The only other person you probably could have gotten, uh, you know, and I don't even know if you would really call it better, but if you were, behind Lou Brock or,
Maury Wills.
Maury Wills. would be the only other two people I could think of. You could have on the same team as you who would have the patience to sit down with you. And uh, I didn't know Brock, but I knew um, Maury Wills a little bit, and they Ricky was a guy who was openly willing to give you what he had. I thought it was fascinating. I thought that was it was just something that always fascinated me that this guy who was one of the fastest people ever to do what he was doing was able to go ahead and do that.
And
I
and he was aware of the fact that nobody was going to give you anything. You're going to have to steal it. You're going to have to
right,
go out there, get on base, and steal it.
right, right. This was something that again you had, and this guy was was the acknowledged premier base stealer of his generation, and yeah, nobody was gonna show you how to do this. Nobody was gonna give you the wisdom, the knowledge, the little things that you have to pick up to be a success at that position. And there's a lot that goes into it, Michael. I mean, there's really, fans sit and they look at it and they think, "Oh, this guy's just going to go," and it's just pure speed. But it's not. It's just a fascinating mind game that
Because
goes on between a pitcher and a base runner.
you got to pick that spot where you get the extra moment, the extra step or step and a half that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise by watching the pitcher, but also demanding that you're fearless about it. As soon as he does A, you do B, you're gone. It doesn't matter if he's in
Yeah,
his windup, you're gone.
yeah. You have to have them, that big, man. You just got to be able
Yeah,
to, and yeah, and to sit there and have that class, that education of somebody who can recreate your mind and give that to you while you're watching the game. I mean, here we are. He's showing me these things and telling me these things in his mind. I can only imagine what it must have been like sitting on the bench, in the dugout, and Cammy sitting next to Ricky, and Ricky like studying this guy and watching him up and down and getting the whole picture of what's going on and what he's looking for and what he's trying to pick up. And is his shirt here? Is it down there? Is this is everything he does a signal? Uh, yeah, just a fascinating. If you're a student of the game, if you love that kind of, it's a spy versus spy, type of deal. Remember the old Spy versus Spy from Head magazine?
of
Uh,
course.
there was so much going on.
And the pitcher often became the victim, which is sort of strange because today's baseball, pitchers have an attitude. Pitchers have a mindset, not as dramatic as Bob Gibson for the most part, but not many of them have a way to attack that runner that's going to steal on them. And Juan Marichal was a good example of someone who would go to first base 5 times in a row, get the crowd booing and stomping and screaming, get the whole focus off this guy stealing, and put the focus on him picking him off. And he was extraordinary. He would wait and wait and wait and wait, then go to first. Boo! The runner goes back. They start all over again. Quickly, he goes to first again. As soon as he gets the ball, he doesn't even hold it. Boom, right back to first.
Yeah,
He had 3 different pickoff moves, and the object was always not to pick the guy out, but to jumble his timing, to get his confidence ruined, to give the catcher a better shot at nailing him because he missed a step. It's a war that you don't see very often. Guys steal second base so many times now without a throw, without a throw. What's the infield doing? What's this idea of giving him the base? Explain that to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's yeah, it just becomes, it goes from being a checker game
Yeah,
to being a chess game.
right.
Yeah, it really goes just everything changes. All of the facets of everything that you're doing in that game just radically changes so much that it becomes, I mean, you obviously have the, I'm trying to throw this ball, past the guy at home plate so he, can strike out or get a hit or do what he's doing. But then there's also that now secondary game that's going on where there's all this strategy going on here. I mean, I think that's why we love baseball so much, because you never, there's certain stations, certain times in a game where so many different um, games come up within the game.
And if I'm on first and you know I'm on a steal and you're the pitcher, were you going to throw a slow breaking ball? No. You're going to
Well,
throw a change up? No. Your idea is to get the ball there as fast as he can so the catcher has a prayer to get him at second base because you know I'm going. Well, that takes away your full arsenal. You're stuck with one pitch,
yeah,
and that gives
yeah,
and now the batter's got the advantage.
and you have to work within that, work within that pitch, as opposed to saying, okay, well, I know that he's a bad, he'll chase something that's outside and away, but yet, you've got to feed him a ball that's, probably right down the plate, or maybe a little, as much as you can control it to get it a little outside, or so that he'll chase something or something high or something that can get it there, so that your guy is going to swing at it, or going to offer it or do something, and then the hitter is now put in a position of he has to protect the runner.
Right.
So if a pitch is bad, is he going to go after it because he's got to create a distraction for the catcher, and for everybody else on the field? And all of this is happening in what, 5 seconds, 8 seconds.
Less, probably.
Yeah, and well, yeah, and now with the the
Pitch
pitch
clock.
clock and all the other constraints that are putting on a game these days. I don't know how umpires do it. I don't know how umpires can keep all of this stuff reconciled in their minds, and they're watching for this and that and this and that, and trying to keep all of this stuff focused and
And a good umpire is going to have to watch for the balk. You got to watch that pitcher in his motion because he's worried about first base. It's easy for him to make a mistake. Any kind of physical mistake is a balk.
right, right. And so you're watching. It's one thing if you have crabby crab advocates, throwing and he's trying to, get the ball to the plate as fast as he can, but he knows that he's not feeling that good today, and he's got 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour off of his fastball. He's not chucking it up there like he normally would. And all of a sudden, he's off. I mean, it's really so much, and you're supposed to fan. You're supposed to account for all of this while you're having a beer.
And the fastest guy in the world is famous for stealing bases, but you got to get on base before you can steal one. So
Right.
your use as a base stealer is completely negated if you can't get a hit, if you can't find a way on base, if you can't walk, if you can't be hit by the pitch. You've got to get there first, and that presents a whole other challenge. So you got to be a hitter, you got to be a player, you got to be a contact person, you got to hit it where they ain't, and then you can begin your work on the base path.
Wow. And so you do want, so now you're saying to yourself, well, crap, man, how do I, eh, what do I do? And then you're looking for the way the ball is coming out of the guy's hand, and is he changing his delivery a little bit? So he's trying to mask up what's going on. No, Michael, it's nothing going on in baseball. It's a boring sport.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here, man. Just keep going. It doesn't have the action. No, but you have to use your brains. Oh yes, the yes. Anyway, it's that'll be that'll be a good that'll be a good solid a good solid assemblage of people. And I guess that they'll have a service for him in Oakland sometime later this week. That'll be one. It'll be interesting to watch to see who shows up for that. Uh,
Catfish
to
hunter.
Yeah, to pay their
Who knows?
respects to and to heap some praise on him. To Now you dealt with Ricky a long time. You always had good interactions with him, right?
No problems. I was there the day
Yeah,
that
I
he
always
broke the
found him to
record.
be a charming guy. Uh, in except for the third party. Ricky's limo is waiting for Ricky outside Ricky's house, which he was famous for. But I always found him to be an engaging, fun guy to talk to. You know, and never shied away from, even if he had a crappy game. Never shied away from doing an interview. Never shied away from answering questions or anything like that. It was always more than happy. It seemed to offer up his his philosophies, his ideas of why he did something in a certain situation. He wasn't afraid of a question, and he never took a question, I thought, as like an insult. Some guys, if you ask them why they did something in a certain situation, they'll take it as an insult.
Aaron
Uh,
Rodgers style.
yeah, yeah. You're not as smart as they are. I never really saw much, if any, of that with
Well, Ricky
Ricky.
and his teammates were lucky because the A's in those days had a team. They had players. They had a future. They were dangerous. They were full of personality and um, characters is what they were always.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's funny because they kind of had. I don't want to say a common enemy because I think that Finley had by that time, Charles Finley, the owner of the ball club, had by that time kind of gotten past the '70s. Um, I don't know, acrimony between he and his players and the mustaches and this and that and the other thing. Uh, I think they were, for the most part, a pretty easy combination of players to work with, you know, to have under his charge. He was, I think Finley had kind of enjoyed being the owner of the team at that point for the last few years that he was going to be the owner of the team. And he had what was his uh, was it his son Carl, or was he like a cousin or something like that?
Don't recall the relation. I do remember every year Finley wanted to institute the orange baseball into the game. He thought it was easier to see than a white baseball, whatever his theory was. Mostly just wanted people to use it so they could say that's the Finley ball.
Yeah, yeah, he liked attention of the owner of the team.
And
Uh,
he liked lowering his payroll by threatening to trade everybody to anybody. I'm taking everybody that's right here and I'll trade them to anybody right now. What do you got for me?
nothing. I don't think. I don't know that he had many times where what was the because remember there was one year where he tried to get rid of everybody
Yeah, the league stopped him.
and
He
the
was
league
fuming.
stopped. What was that, like 75 or 76 or something like that? Where the league uh had he wanted to get rid of a bunch of players, and he was
I think Dick Williams was the manager then. I'm not certain.
yeah, and Bowie Kuhn in one of the amazing feats of showing you had some nerve behind you, stepped in and showed that said, "Hey, you know what? We're not going to let you do this. You're going to upset the competitive balance of the league."
I just want to trade everybody to the Yankees. What do you say? Just
Yeah,
remake their
because
team.
that's the only Steinbrenner was probably the only guy who had the kind of money at that time to go ahead and take the money and trade these guys and take the cash and then sell a franchise. Finley had enough. I mean, the commissioner had him in court like every other week, right?
And he was uniquely positioned to aggravate everybody. His players, his management, his manager, his front office. You never knew what was next.
Yeah, yeah.
And although
It was
the animal that was supposed to represent the A's was the elephant, but with Finley it was the mule, stubborn as.
Is that what the A stood for?
For the ass,
what they what they used to call me, Oakland Pathetics at that point. I mean, that was a masterclass in taking a great franchise and inside of 2 years ruining it, running it to the point where nobody could even recognize what it was or what it was for. And then they had the exciting group of new players coming in from the different young franchises, young different players, different the farm system. That's what I'm trying to say farm system. The farm system, I mean, produced for a team that didn't have a lot of personnel. They knew how to pick players, man. They knew how to trade for players.
they were coming from everywhere. Seemed like every year.
Yeah, there was always somebody that you were talking about down at Modesto or somewhere. I don't think that Finley wanted a team that was a far drive away from his offices, from his insurance offices. Not insurance. So yeah, it was insurance, Finley. But he wanted places he could drive to. He didn't want to get in a plane if he could help it. Too much money.
to see the new star like Vita Blue or whatever the
Yeah,
case may be.
Vida. Well, what do you think Vida said when he saw Ricky walking into heaven this morning?
Where the hell have you been? How you figure around?
Oh man, well, I hope Ricky. I, it's going to be a hell of a team that they're going to have up there. When I wonder, we always talk about getting in and meeting people and seeing who's going to be on what team when they get in there and get a chance to see these guys in action playing against each other. It's going to be something to see. So I hope Ricky, uh, I hope he finds. I hope he finds that peace within himself, man. He was nothing but a good guy. I thought Ricky Henderson, a partier to be sure, but I hope he finds the right amount of sugar for his coffee.
And there's one of the great weapons of baseball, of the five traditional weapons of baseball, and that is speed. Which means, however you do it and whatever you're doing, you do it with great speed. Whether you're running to first or running for a fly ball, the weapon that only nature can give you.
Yeah, you can't teach somebody speed, can you?
You can't teach those who have speed how to use it. They have to come up with their own ideas.
Yeah, yeah. You just can't. You have to. You have to have it. Unfortunately, that's something that you have to be able to bring it up, have it, and be fortunate enough to use it and know how to use it, and it'll get you to it'll take you a lot of places. Speed.
It'll get you first to second, like Shohei Otani, big guy. He has speed to the point where he can use it to steal bases, and he did a lot of that this year.
Those were the
Just
guys
to
that
prove,
always.
just to prove
Those
that
were
he
the
could do
guys
it.
that always amazed me, man. It's the big guys, the Otanis, the Jose Cansecos. How fast they could move, all of that muscle,
All that
all of that
mass.
mass, from 90 feet and get it down there quickly. That was always amazing to me how people could do that. And yet, here's guys that, again, uh, you know, 30 home runs, you got power and 30 stolen bases, 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Crazy numbers. But these
50-50
guys are
guy.
able to put them up. Wild, absolutely wild. What did you what did you see that you liked in football this weekend? Anything? Can I put you in
Well,
this Kansas City Chiefs?
the Chiefs come to mind because it's so much fun to watch them play, and they'll find a way to win, no matter how. They seem to be able to take an injured player and make them work for them. Uh, I saw the 49er game, uninspiring. I feel sorry for them because they're so depleted on both sides of the ball. Some of their
Yeah,
stars are there, like Kittle and Wagner and Debo Samuel, but they're unable to be used in a situation where you have to get the first down. The 49ers just seem to have busiest guy on the team is the punter. He's always warm.
yeah, yeah. We had a our kicker here who was pretty good. Attempted one from 60 yards out and found out that
He, he could kick at 57.
I don't even know if he got a 57. He might even got a 58 or something. it did. It didn't make those last. It stopped. Seemed like it hit a net or hit something. Almost looked like it was. But again, the Seahawks is just. It just seems to be a plethora, a large amount of problems
It's like
that hit.
they're going to turn it over somehow, usually by interception. You just don't know when.
Yeah, yeah. You're watching for the moment, which is a bad way to play football. It's a bad way to watch football, and it's certainly got to be a bad way to play football because you never know when it's coming.
Well, the
It
Niners and the
must be
Seahawks
like.
both suffered that way.
Say again, Michael. I'm sorry.
The Niners and the Seahawks both suffered this weekend from that way, ending the game on interceptions, turning the ball over, three and out, three and out.
Yeah, yeah. It just both of them look like they're just not ready for prime time.
Timely penalties, taking your gains and destroying them in a second and 20 instead of first and 10. 49ers had timely penalties all day long. They confounded their drives, cut them short.
Yeah. What? I mean, I now you watch them every game, so you get to see them much more than I do. Uh, I just don't remember the 49ers earlier in this year being as as they seem to have their act a lot together. They seem to be a much tighter team when it came to penalties. And from what I could see, the last couple of games that I watched them, they seem to, excuse me, have kind of lost that.
Well, they're teeing off on Brock Purdy, so they're coming. They're bringing the extra guy all the time because the full company of offensive weapons is not there. We haven't had a running back since the first week of the season. Christian McCaffrey hardly played this year. When he did, he got hurt again. His backup and his secondary running backs were hurt. We went through four running backs, four starting running backs this year, and the fifth one was a guy who just joined the team off the tax squad. So no running game. That pretty much says that you can tee off on the quarterback. He's got George Kittle, but he can't. He doesn't have the time to get to him. He doesn't release the ball as quickly as Baker Mayfield the second might. They were throwing to Debo Samuel out of the backfield, but they didn't do enough of that. They could use him as a running back, so apparently from time to time, end around, hook and ladder, but they didn't have the time for those plays to develop because the offensive line has got holes in it. So the defense is coming through, and you're always dealing with your enemy in the backfield. And that's the story that gets very old as the game wears on, as they take advantage of your ability to convert those first downs. And the 49ers were not getting first downs. They just could not hold the ball. They couldn't sustain a drive. They couldn't put it together. And so George Kittle's fine, but you got to be able to throw to him. When it's third and 15, show me your list of plays that you have for third and 15.
Yeah, it just seemed like that not being able to get a first down and the ability to come up with a penalty at the most inopportune time. It's not good for anybody on
No,
the team. It seemed like they just kept shooting themselves in the foot.
that's it. That's the whole season right there. And as soon as somebody gets well, somebody else goes down. So the return to the lineup is not felt because you're weak somewhere else. And
Yeah.
that's a spelled disaster for the whole season. No running game, no reliable offensive line. No, it's not working.
And it doesn't appear to me like it's gonna. Well, again, we don't know. I mean, we're down to the last couple of games in the season here. I don't get the feeling that it's got to be. I mean, the Seahawks. I don't think they're going anywhere this year. Really, I don't know that the Seahawks are going to come up with. Even the staunchest fan. My friend Norb with the Norb Cam, and I don't know that they're going to all of a sudden have this come to Jesus moment and wake up and hit the gas. There's
No,
teams that you could look at. Buffalo seems to be one that comes to mind immediately, where they catch a little lightning in a bottle, and they're gonna wake up and they're gonna slide into the playoffs very possibly with some momentum. Uh, those teams are gonna do okay. They've had previous success in the season. They hit a low spot, and it seems like either through getting somebody back from an injury or getting somebody back from uh, something else, that they'll regain excuse me, what they were doing earlier in the year.
that's what the Eagles hope. How would you like to be doing mornings on WIP after that loss to the Commanders?
Man.
The Commanders took it from them. It wasn't like the Eagles coughed it up. They lost that game.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Howard Eskin is no longer there to soothe the Howard Eskin, a big personality, sports talk personality in Philadelphia for years and years and years. He's no longer there to soothe the huddled masses yearning to be free.
Nope, they're huddled and their dreams of being free are fast escaping.
I mean, right now they're just lined up out there on the street. Half the people want to go to Geno's, the other half want to go to Pat's, and there's a large group of people who are saying, "Wait a minute, I'm just going to go to the bakery on the corner of my block. I'm going to bring my own bread, and
Make my own sandwich.
I'm going to make my own Sammy and no whip, no whiz, I should say, no whiz. keep that keep that processed food off of my sandwich."
I'll use real cheese, please.
Cheese whiz. Ugh.
Just to seem like a
Ugh.
good idea at the time, but it wasn't.
No, I had it once, and I just, you know what? I just give me the provolone, man. Just give me the provolone. Give me I don't want the spray cheese. I spray the door of my car with cheese whiz, not my sandwich. I just, but it's Philly,
You
right?
can't
They
you
get
can't
what they deserve, or
you
they
can't argue
deserve
with
what they
them.
get.
They got the Liberty Bell and they got the memory of Benjamin Franklin, and that's about it.
And American Bandstand. They had American Bandstand.
That was
Let,
good.
let us not forget about Dick Clark and his ability to escape um, the prevailing winds down
Name an
there in
age.
beautiful,
Name
lovely.
an age, please. Name an age. What did you think of the song? I give it an 8. An 8. I don't like the lyrics. No, you can't sing along to it. No. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it a
But it's
7.
easy to dance to.
All these songs are going to be easy to dance to. I know, but we have to say it. It's good to dance to.
Yeah, because our sponsor is the Dancing Shoe Company. But no, 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 just say it. Just say it. You want to come back and dance again for free next week, kid? I'll have your picture on every television set in Philadelphia. So, Mikey, you turn to the kids and what do you say?
You're on every
You do it,
jukebox in Queens.
you
You do
do
it.
it, or you do it.
I'm not ready to dance. You're ready. You're ready. Start dancing.
Oh man,
And this is a
you
slow
do it,
dance, so you know what to
you
do.
do it, oh you do it. Oh Lord, man, oh man.
What do you got
That's
planned
it.
for today, Vinny? Do you have anything you have to do? I have to get some bread.
I'm going out to a Christmas party. My good friend Keith has his annual Get Loud party.
Get loud, okay.
Get Loud. And it's the one day a year where you can go to Keith's house. He lives in Spokane.
Holy moly.
And so I'm going to jump in the car after the show, uh,
Drive the whole damn state.
drive across the whole damn state, go to the Get Loud party, sleep tonight when the party's over, and then get up in the morning and head back this way tomorrow. And tomorrow night, I think we have the Feast of the Seven Fishes planned.
Do these fishes have names?
Um,
Theodore,
yeah,
Simon, and Alvin?
fish one, fish two, fish three, fish four, fish five.
Wait, let me guess the next one. Fish 7.
Yes, Mikey, we've been working together a long time. And of course, to round it out, fish six. Um, the good thing with the fishes thing is, in the old days, you had to go to the market, the fish store, the fish market. You'd have to go to the fishmonger, and you'd have to, get 6, 7 different types of fishes. Nowadays, all you got to do is go down and say, I'm doing a festa. And they come up with it. You don't even have to tell them.
They
You
know.
know, you just say, I'm doing the festa. And, the fish guy is going to come up with some shrimp. He's going to come up with some nice cod for you. Maybe a nice little piece of salmon.
Rip snapper.
Maybe some salmon. Maybe some mussels. Some clams. And even though they're technically not fish per se, they're within the spirit of the 7 different fishes.
In the same way, a mule is not technically a fish.
Right. It's but you can hold you can you can it's sticking with the intent of the law. So you're gonna be okay.
Now, the only fish in baseball are the Tampa Rays, and the Sharks are hockey. Any other fish in baseball that we know
Oh
about?
yeah, the Marlins.
Yeah, the Marlins. Okay.
Let me think. No, the Cubs aren't fish. Definitely not fish. The Cubs. The Yankees, Mets are not
No
fish.
fish
No,
in
I don't.
basketball.
Yeah, no, I think those are the only. Yeah, no, I think the Giants, Dodgers. Dodgers are not fish, right?
Don't think so.
I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could make an argument that the Angels, because they do have angel fish,
They should be so lucky.
but Artie Moreno has not
Not a
ever made the
fisherman.
argument
Not a fisher. Not a fisher of men.
angel fish. So I think you just have a few choices there. So I think you're okay. Now, I don't know. The Giants for many years had the crazy crab.
That's a crustacean, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But I always stick to the idea that if it comes out of the water, it's a fish, right?
Now, squid and octopus are a different family. They have
They're what?
they're from a different family. They're cephalopods.
yeah. There's some kind of different thing there, but
The
I
Squid
don't
have
think
jets.
people. I think it's one of those things where people don't grab on to the true meaning of it. Where some people get a little. It's like this squingeal that they're eels. I mean, actually, they're probably insects, right?
I don't think so. You have to have 6 legs to be an insect, a thorax, and the rest of it.
Yeah, they get that.
And you got to have little feelers.
Wait. It's about as good as you can do with 2 arms and 2 hands.
It was very appealing. It reminded me of the what's my favorite bug that I can refer to here? Well, not the cockroach, but the
Potato bug.
trilobite.
Potato bug.
I got nothing.
Yeah, what kind of? Yeah, I was just trying to think of what. Well, anyway, so yeah, I think those are the only. I think those are the only fish that we have. So if you were going to do a Major League Baseball 7 fish,
You'd have some trouble getting there.
you'd have some trouble getting to the some trouble getting there. But we figured, what about fish? No, those are that's cod, right? The fish burgers at I'm
McDonald's.
trying to think of what they put in what's the McDonald's big fish sandwich? But that's cod,
Any,
right? Or whitefish.
anything that's dead, a dead fish will do.
They're not particular as long as you don't have an eye looking up at you when you bite into the sandwich.
What are you complaining about? There's only one eye. We took the other one out.
Yeah, we didn't give you 2 eyes. If we gave you 2 eyes, we'd have a problem. We'd have to charge extra. One eye looking at you like that. So
What are you going to drive to Spokane?
I'm going to drive this little Honda pickup, the Ridgeline, which I got to tell you, Michael, I'm loving this little. This is all the pickup any human being needs.
You got a car, one of the rare cars, because Honda just merged with Nissan.
Is that official yet?
According to the Japanese press, it is.
I have noticed that I know they've been talking about it, and I wonder how my friends at well, how, I was wondering how my friends at Nissan are going to take to that news. The Honda people are going to be happy, uh, you know, because Honda.
Puts them right in the third place.
Well, yeah, but and Honda has also been doing a lot of stuff with General Motors lately. The Honda Electric, the Prologue,
Joint
that
venture.
is a General is essentially a Chevy Blazer. So there'll have to be some, I guess, figuring out of who's going to sell whose car where and stuff like that,
And what you're going to call it.
and what you're going to call it. Yeah, because you're not going to be able to sell that car,
The new
in
Nissan Civic.
a Nissan showroom across the street from a Chevy showroom. It's going to create some problems, but they always figure these things out. Um, and the Hondas, listen, I think the Honda's one of the better cars out there right now. Uh, again, the Civic, the Accord, and they're one of the only makes that are manufacturing two-door cars.
Whoa.
Two-door cars.
Does the seat fall forward? When to get into the back seat, does the seat fall forward?
Yeah, Yeah, you just hit that. Well, it's actually I think
like in a two door
the
Plymouth that
car is
Humphrey Bogart was a two door
a lever.
Plymouth that Humphrey, yeah.
You touch that lever and it falls forward, and you get in the back seat. I I was watching an episode of Highway Patrol the other night. Imagine that, and they were arresting some bad guy, and they had to put the guy that they had arrested in the back seat of the car because it was only a two-door police car.
Wow.
Oh,
I thought during the Broadway Crawford days they drove Buick Specials
Two doors.
and Oldsmobile 88s.
Yeah, they had some Buicks, they had Oldsmobiles, and but all of those cars that they had were all two-door cars,
Crazy.
and they had to be those seats had to be moved forward. As a matter of fact, I think the only time that they had any problem with them is when they were putting people in the back seat. I was like, this has got to be interesting. How would in modern day, you couldn't do that. Although I think in Europe, they use some two-door cars as police cars.
In Germany they have Porsches for cruisers.
Yeah, they use those for like highway patrol to do the autobahn
Correct.
or BMWs
Correct.
have
oh,
they've made themselves up to be interesting police cars. But again, you don't see a two-door police car here in America, except if it's like a highway patrol type of car, and they use like a Challenger. Um, yeah, Challenger, and then they'll call a four-door car to transport a prisoner if they have one. But boy, to get the prisoners from A to B, they always call for a four-door. So it's I always
And some
find
of
that.
those two doors were too small. I remember when they had Mustangs for CHP, and it was a you put the computer, the shotgun, the cop, the gun belt, the all the folderol that they have, all this equipment in the front seat. There's no room for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I have all my stuff, but pal, you're gonna have to wait for the next police car to come along. We're not going to be able to.
I'm full of stuff. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we have all this stuff in here, so I can't take you along right now. But if you do me a favor and wait here, my partner will be along in about 20 minutes with
He's going to be
a big
wearing
old Plymouth Fury.
he's going to be wearing a big baggy gray suit. You can't miss him. His name is Dan.
Yeah, his name is Dan, and he will just lean into that microphone, perched up on top of that steering wheel, and he'll be happy to take you downtown.
If he says 2150 by, get out of his way.
Get out of his way, man. Don't stick around because he'd be more than happy to get out of your way and do that kind of stuff and clear the road for Dan.
No one ever said to Dan Matthews, "You're wearing a suit. You know, you're not CHP. You're no cop."
No, nobody.
I'm a detective cop. I wear a
They
suit.
got to bring that show. That's a show that's primed for being brought back, isn't it?
It's time.
Is it time for them to bring that show back?
And not two wisecracking guys like Chips that ride motorcycles and tell jokes to one another. It's got to be hard nailed pursuit.
Right. I want to see. And now, who would be? Because there's a lineage that goes there. There was one guy that was on the original Highway Patrol, and then he was on Chips. And then, so who would have been on Chips now? Who would make it over to the new Highway Patrol?
Eric Estrada. Eric Estrada would be the commander.
Think he'd be the commanding officer?
Never gets out from behind his desk. He's fine.
Just sit him down and say, Eric, you stay there and we'll make you the watch commander.
We'll work around you.
I think we've come up with a new series, Michael.
And it's on during the family hour.
Can,
The kids
here we
like
go.
to see
Can
the
we sell
highway
that
chasing.
to Netflix, you think?
Shoot the whole thing in L.A. Helicopters.
Yeah. What's that? Is that stretch of freeway still abandoned? Remember they had
Nope.
that.
Nope.
I forget what road it was.
That was the 135 connecting to the 210. It's had weird for a long time, but now it's all connected. Long since connected. Since the Doobie Brothers were making albums, it's connected. If you remember, they had the stagecoach up on that thing.
You see that, Michael? We're in the wrong business. We should, when I was in the coma, I told you I had this recurring dream of being in the business of rebooting old TV series. And one of the series that I was, without a doubt, excited about doing was Highway Patrol. Uh, Highway
This time.
Patrol and Chips and I Love Lucy and Matlock. Well, they've already done Chips. They've already done Highway Patrol / Chips. So now we need we need something to get the kids interested.
Well, to get the kids interested today, I'm taking presents to them. Kristen did the rapping. I did the, what did I do? Masterminding. I thought about it. She did the work.
That's why you guys have been a model married couple for so long.
We're going to go see the grandkids and our kids, and the festivity will follow.
Well, you give those kids and those grandkids a big hug from Uncle Vinnie, and tell them I'm thinking about them and Merry Christmas.
And you and your family have a happy Christmas, Vinnie.
Yeah, why don't we reconvene this next Monday?
Okay, Monday it is.
Yeah, and then we can wrap up the year and spend some time just kind of looking ahead to next year and all the fun that we're going to have.
Our list of those who didn't make it through the year, people who have passed on to the great beyond, like Willie Mays.
Yeah, Willie Mays and so many who are no longer with us, but yet will always hold a special place in our hearts. Michael, you as always, you hold a special place in my heart, pal.
And you and mine, Vin.
And I have a very blessed Christmas and a happy Christmas, and I will catch up with you next Monday if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.
Don't forget to put out the snack for Santa. Don't forget.
I got the Italian cookies right here, and Mikey.
I can't see it.
I got to get a green screen for Christmas. Eggnog.
Ah, the Nog of Ed.
We got the local Dairy Gold eggnog, old fashioned, none of that fat free crap. Santa comes to this window, he gets himself a real eggnog.
Santa understands.
Santa understands eggnog. If you don't know anything else, he knows eggnog.
He likes to put the little eggnog in his Manischewitz.
Well, you could do that. I'd like to slip a little brandy in his eggnog, to be honest with you. And,
that's the traditional way.
Who the hell's going to pull Santa over on Christmas Eve?
Dan Matthews, that's who.
Yeah, that's exactly who. All right, yeah, and we're kidding around about it, but please don't drink and drive. Don't put your kids in the car and drink and drive. Please. Let's we don't have that many listeners, so we need everyone that we could possibly get to meet us back here next Monday to continue on into a 2025 that promises
to be wacky,
to be a year that we'll be just sick about by the time it's all over.
So sick.
All right, Mikey. Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas, Vin. Have a great one.
Love and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine. What a year. What a Christmas. See you, Ben.
All right. See you, Mikey. Take care. Thank you all for listening to our show, too. We always appreciate it. And from the both of us, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for listening and participating and being on the radio with us, being on the screen, wherever you participate of our well wishes in our fun. We so appreciate every moment that you spend with us. Thank you all
We'll see you
so
a week
very
from
much.
now. We'll see you a week from here on Monday.
See you a week from Monday. Take care, folks.